I would say it's a mixed bag. um, we did 3 studies at 10-year intervals. Mm-hmm. So we had some time, 20 years of trends. And the audience for those surveys was the same in each case. It was members of the American Agricultural Editors Association. So basically we were tuning in on editors' perceptions of their relationships with advertisers, advertising influence on editorial content. And I'd say the bottom line is that after the 20 years, we are seeing continuing concern among editors in the influence of advertising on editorial content in a variety of ways. Not only in the way things are covered, agricultural issues are covered, the influences of advertising and advertisers on that, but also on coverage of what is dealing with what is not covered of issues in agriculture. And those are both fronts that agricultural editors and reporters are continually concerned about. They were 20 years ago, they are today, and in some ways increasingly so, because the field of agricultural media has consolidated during that time, and that brings with it also more reliance on advertising as a means of support for the commercial media. So there's a dynamic there. But I think the good news is, from our research, there were signs on 2 fronts. One was that the advertisers and their agencies and the public relations firms with which they work are understanding that editorial freedom, that a free and open press, an independent press in agriculture, is vital, not only to the publishers, but also to the audiences they serve and to the sponsors, the advertisers themselves. It's a triad, and they're mutually dependent upon each other. And what we're seeing from our final 3rd survey was some recognition among that advertisers are stepping back and recognizing the importance of editorial independent coverage. And the second thing was, we're finding that more publishers have guidelines for their ethical practices, codes of practice on gifting, for example, or other who pays for travel costs to a new product introduction and so on. There are many questions of this kind. And we've seen signs that more of these publishers have guidelines for that, and that the reporters themselves are kind of standing up and saying, it's important for us to be an independent voice. And it's also in the best interest of advertisers for us to have an independent voice. We sometimes, as editors, may be the consciences of agriculture, not just the advocates of agriculture. So that's the role of the commercial independent press in agriculture. And I think those of us who are doing research are encouraged by what we're seeing, by the codes of practice, the ethical codes. The public relations practitioners in AAEA have also developed a code of practice recently, and those are all, I think, good signs of progress.